WHCS Channel 29 presents Peninsula District Boys High School Basketball. The Hampton Crabbers hosting the Phoebus Phantoms. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole, along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we are here on the campus of Hampton High School for tonight's game between the Hampton Crabbers, 10-2 overall, 6-2 in the district, and they will host the Phoebus Phantoms, 4-9 overall, and 3-6 in the district. Bob, what have you got on these two teams coming in?
Tim, what I think we're going to do is we're going to try to pick up the starters from the announcer, but the Hampton is second in the district, and right now Phoebus is seventh, so let's catch the starters.
For Phoebus, number 20, Jamie Chappelle.
They pronounce that Chappelle. We weren't sure on that, Tim. It's good to hear it.
All right, Jamie Chappelle,
number 32,
leading the district.
Blackman.
It's number 32, Ronnie Blackman for the Crabbers. And of course, you're going to hear a big hand when Hampton's introduced because we're at the Hampton home.
Morgan. And for the Crabbers, number 52, Baruch Harris.
I like that name, Baruch.
Yeah. Number 34, Willie Thompson.
Baruch Harris, of course, a name we remember from football.
Yes, sir.
John Scott for the Hampton Crabbers.
And he is a real surprise this year. He was not that good of a ball player last year, but worked real hard this summer.
Petey Whitfield, a name from the football season as well.
Yeah, Petey was their great tight end and linebacker this year, defensive end for the Phoebus Phantoms football team.
Finally, for the Crabbers, number 20, Kevin Swan.
And Kevin Swan for the Crabbers.
Coach for the Phoebus Phantoms, Mr. Jerry Gentry.
Kevin Swan averaging over 17 points per ball game as well.
And there we see the starters, Tim, for the Phantoms. It's Chappell, Morgan, Thompson, Whitfield, and Levester. And with the two officials, as you can see them over there, let's pick up the Crabbers, Tim, when we got a chance.
All right, there's Swan, Scott, Blackman, Harris, and Blackman.
And the officials tonight, the referee is Jim Downey, the umpire is Calvin Thomas. And Calvin Thomas is on your left, Downey is on your right. The one with the mustache is Calvin Thomas.
There you go.
By the playing of our national anthem.
And we hope you'll join us now for the playing of our national anthem. We have, of course, coming into this game, we have the two leading scorers in the Peninsula District facing each other this evening. And, of course, that is Jamie Chappelle, who has a slight lead over Kevin Swan. So we have that to look forward to tonight as well.
I got a chance to talk with both coaches tonight, Tim, and 90% of the time, Hampton's going to be in a man-to-man. They're going to try to play an upbeat offense and defense because they are very quick. And he figures that, he meaning the coach of Hampton, Walter Brown, figures they score about 80% of the time after a turnover. And there you see Walter Brown is the Hampton coach, and Jerry Gentry is the Phoebus coach. The Phoebus, of course, is going to want to slow the tempo down a little bit. They do not want to run. They don't feel that they can run with Hampton. Now, he said they can play a small, quick team or a big, slow team, but he says Hampton is big and fast, and there's no way we can go with them. They're going to run a pattern offense, try to get the ball inside. They'll use a 1-3-1 zone with the pressure on the guards because Hampton does have some great outside shooters.
And Hampton does, in fact, control the tap.
And you can see they pulled out in that 1-3-1 zone right off the bat. And what that'll happen in that 1-3-1 zone, Tim, when that ball gets on the side, it'll go into a 2-2-1 so they can put pressure on the play. And that was a nice steal by number 14, Paul Blackman. And he's starting because he had an excellent game against Lafayette. Hampton went up and beat Lafayette. Excellent breaking of the press that time.
That was Jamie Chappelle.
I'll get on that topic in a minute, Tim.
2-2, the ball game tied. Just underway, 4 8-minute quarters. Ball is tapped out and is last touched by the Phoebus Phantoms.
But anyway, Hampton went up to Lafayette, beat Lafayette at their home court, which is the first time in 2.5 years that they've lost a home game. And Paul Blackman did an excellent job, and that's why he is starting tonight. Here's a three-point opportunity, and right there you can see number 20, Kevin Swan, and he's one of the leaders in the district. And you can't put down 2 now. You got to put down a 3.
Right.
But
so it's 5-2. This is the first time, of course, this year that you and I have seen the three-point play, at least in the sense that we're broadcasting it.
That's
nice
for
drive
sure.
to the bucket.
Now, one thing about the Phoebus guards, they're quick, Tim, but they're not good outside shooters. That looked like it might have been a turnover that time.
It is, in fact, a turnover for the Phantoms, and racing down and putting it in is 34, Willie Thompson. And it's 5-4, the Hampton Crabbers.
And they'll keep pressure on the outside because of that three-point play. And I talked to Coach Brower about that, and they run. They have some drills, Tim, where they work on that three-point play out there. Because he's got some excellent shooters, and they're not afraid to put it up. In fact, they've got the green light, especially Kevin Swan's got the green light.
P.D. Whitfield called for the personal foul. That's his first, the team's first. Crabbers move the ball around, looking for the inside shot. From 12, yes. Ronnie Blackman gets 2 points. 7-4, Crabbers. And we've got a forward and back violation. As you undoubtedly know, you cannot bring the ball into the forecourt and then have it go back to the backcourt.
And in that case, the player had not gotten across the court and touched the ball across the midcourt line.
From the corner, three-point range. Kevin Swan is 2 for 2 from that range.
What will happen here tonight is if Phoebus does not want to get in a running game, but they are running right now. So if they run, that's exactly what Hampton wants them to do. Upbeat tempo definitely favors the Hampton Crabbers. They're a much quicker team than Phoebus is. I know Jerry wants the guys to slow it down, settle it down, work the ball, get the ball inside, run your pattern offense. And that's what you can see is happening out there right now. They're trying to get the ball and move it. Try to get it a good inside shot.
Baruch Harris comes down with the rebound for the Crabbers. Ball was tipped, and the officials, working as a good tandem, check each other out and say the ball belongs to the Phantoms.
That was excellent. One was kind of screened out, and he just looked over to the other one to make sure who was going to get the ball. You see, Hampton does a lot of, a three-pointer from, That's a surprise because they're not known for their three-point or the outside shooting. Not the Phantoms aren't anyway.
Willie Thompson connects on that three-pointer. It's 10-7, the Crabbers on top. Baseline feed, no good. Two Crabbers battle for it. It comes away in the hands of the Phantoms. 3-on-2, nice play.
That was an excellent pass.
Willie Thompson has 8 points. Check that, 7 points. He's got 7 of the 9 Phoebus points so far. 4 minutes to remain in the first quarter. It's 10-9 Hampton.
They've got Kevin Swan just sitting outside the three-point line, and he gets the ball and lets her fly.
Misses on that one. Inside move. Still loose. Kevin Swan can't get it to go. He battles with Levester, and it comes away for the Phantoms. 2-on-1. And Thompson will bank it off the glass. So Thompson, quickly out of the trap here, has 9 points.
Well, Phoebus is doing a good job after they get the ball looking down the court because Hampton is sending 4 and 5 men to the board, and they don't have anybody back for that quick basket. And that's what keeping Phoebus in the ball game right now. In fact, they are ahead by 1.
Crabbers patiently looking for the pass, and it's intercepted on a super play.
That was just a lazy pass, Tim. You can't throw a bounce pass lazily. If you do, it's going to get picked off, especially if you've got an active zone like Phoebus is doing out there. And Jerry Gentry is really concerned because they had played so poorly against Denby last Friday night that he thought mentally they may not get into the ball game, but he seems to have done a good job of getting them mentally prepared for tonight's ball game because they're going up against an excellent Hampton Crabber team.
And the Crabbers will have 3 substitutions forthcoming. Aaron Johnson, a normal starter, checks in the ball game for the Crabbers. And we'll pick up the others. Eric Hunter, 44 for the Crabbers. Of course, he's the former quarterback for the Crabbers for the football season. Baruch Harris gets the rebound. Crabbers bring it down, trailing by 3. Swan looks, passes back outside. Crabbers want to look for the inside shot. They get it to Harris, and a whistle underneath. Baruch Harris averaging almost 10 points per ball game, 9.8. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. He'll get 2 shots. 2:23 remains here in the first quarter. 8-minute quarters in high school basketball.
Well, I talked to Coach Brower before the game, Tim, and he told me that the people that start for him are those that play defense and those that rebound, and that's why Paul Blackman started this game. He'll also pull him out if you're not doing what he thinks you should do. But they're an excellent outside shooting club, but you also notice that they look to get the ball inside to their big men. So they're not a one-dimension team. They play the whole thing. The first break we get probably at the end of the first quarter, AG's got Arnold Baker, and you remember Arnold was a ball player here at Hampton High School and coached at Phoebus. And he has a son that's on this Hampton team, so AG's got a good guy to interview here during the break of the quarter.
I was just a kid when Arnold Baker played here.
Yeah, I knew you were, Tim.
I was a kid of about 18. The Phantoms left-handed, no good. Batted around. Kevin Swan finally brings it off. A 3-on-1. Nice pass right side. Yes.
Well, one of our officials slipped down there. Calvin Thomas got up limping. I hope he's okay.
Baseline drive, offensive foul. That was Darrell Copeland for the Phantoms, who had just come in moments ago.
Well, he did a good job going to the basket, Tim, but he did not look where he was going, and there was a Hampton Crabber in the lane, had good position, and, of course, that was a foul on him.
We're tied at 13, a minute and 33 seconds to go in the first quarter. A fast-paced ball game so far. Ball is tipped away and taken over by the Phantoms.
I'll tell you, the Phantoms doing a good job of that 1-3-1 defense. They've got their hands up. They're taking away the passing lanes.
Petey Whitfield's shot is a little strong. Rebound to a teammate, up and good. That's Chappelle with his second bucket. And the Phantoms regain the lead. Aaron Johnson with the ball, swings it into the corner. Schwann's pass inside, second time in a row, it's been picked off. Drive the bucket, good block.
Well, that is excellent block that time. He got all ball.
That was one of those in-your-face blocks.
Oh, I tell you.
Kevin Schwann will check out of the ball game. Coach Brower will give him a break for a minute.
We have one ball player that's not out there tonight that Phoebus is really missing, Tim. A young man by the name of Markio King, who is he was averaging 12 points a ball game, but he's got they think a hairline fracture, and he's got his leg in a cast, so he is out of commission, and he will not be playing tonight, and they're going to miss him.
Cedric Williams with the baseline jumper, and we're tied at 15. 20 seconds to go in the quarter. Knocked away, regained by the Phantoms. Yes. Jamie Chappelle warms to the occasion. He's got 6 points. 8 seconds, the clock moving.
And I need to mention, when you get a chance, and there's Arnie Baker's son, just made that shot. Number 24, young Cannon Baker. That's the end of the first quarter, Tim. I do want to make a point here about Jerry Gentry. This is his first year as a head coach at Phoebus, and he kind of backed into that job. So we got AG right behind us, Tim. So if he's ready, we'll go to AG.
All right, he's ready.
Arnie Baker, former coach of Phoebus. Your thoughts on this first quarter here, Arnie?
Well, it looks like it's an exciting basketball game. Of course, Hampton has an excellent team, and Phoebus obviously has improved since the first outing and have come to play tonight. So I think as we look at the game, it's going to go right down to the wire right now. Phoebus is really playing hard, and Hampton needs to really get after them if they're going to win this one.
All right, I think you got a favorite out there. Gannon, 10th grader, I think he got in the first quarter. Have you been working with him?
Not on that last shot, I haven't been. But I work with him some, but he works a lot on his own. We talk basketball.
They say they can't get him out of the gym.
Can't get him out of the gym. He practices all the time, and he works on his game, and he loves it, and he studies it, and I think he's going to be a good player before it's over with.
One final question. You miss coaching, Arnie?
Not right here. I like it up here. It's easier to coach up here.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, Arnie. All right, Tim, Bob, now back to you.
That was an excellent interview, but I do want to point out that Arnie Baker could shoot that three-point shot. There wasn't no 3 points back then, but he could put that ball up. He's an excellent shooter.
It only counted as 1.5 points way back then. Almost a traveling call. Inside feed, and we've got a whistle. No, traveling.
Two Hampton Crabbers had the ball that time, and he can't do that.
Crabbers are having a tough go of it here. They turned the ball over quite a bit. I don't have the turnovers in the first quarter, but they did turn the ball over several times.
More than what Coach Brower wants them to do, I'm sure.
Phantoms with the ball and a 2-point lead. This is Cannon Baker guarding the Phantom player. Ball knocked away and controlled by the Crabbers. This is Baker. Baseline. Put it up, off the glass, no good. Crashed the boards. Baruch Harris crashed the boards and a Phoebus Phantom player. So he'll be charged with the personal foul.
And that's, according to the scoreboard, that's the first foul against the Crabbers. And we've already played a little over a quarter, and could be a very critical point.
Only 3 personal fouls against the team for the Phantoms. Good hustle on the part of the Crabbers, but it belongs to the Phantoms. Petey Whitfield set a big pick down there.
Oh, excellent.
Nicely.
The excellent tap by number 34, Tim. He really skied to tip that ball in. That was Willie Thompson. What an excellent job of following up on that missed shot.
19-15, inside feed, off the glass, and good.
Excellent pass from Baker that time.
John Scott got the bucket, and he is fouled. He'll get a chance for a 3-point play. Now, Cannon Baker will check out. Kevin Swan will check in for the Crabbers.
Well, Gannon has got a sore ankle, Tim, so I don't look for him to play a lot tonight. He's sprained that ankle, so he's got to work slowly and getting that thing back in shape.
That was Petey Whitfield called for the foul. That is his second. Six and a half minutes to go in the second quarter. Good steal by the Crabbers. And it won't go. Swan follows. It doesn't go for him either, and we've got a foul. This foul charged to number 34. That's Willie Thompson. That's his first.
Well, that's the fourth team foul, so the next foul, well, the 15th foul puts anything after that will put them into 1-1, Tim.
That actually is the fifth.
Oh, that was a fifth foul. Okay, so they're in 1-1 everything after this, and Hampton has not got but one foul against them, so Phoebus is not going to be to the line unless they get fouled in the act of shooting.
John Scott at the free throw line. 1 of 2. Baruch Harris gets the rebound, and the Crabbers, Kevin Swan from three-point range, no. Inside rebound, left-hander is good. Cedric Williams put it up left-handed, and he's got 6 points. Driving the baseline, off the rim, no good. Swan out very quickly. Aaron Johnson pulls up from 6, yes.
Well, Hampton just scored 5 straight points, Tim, and that'll put the pressure on the Phoebus Phantoms.
Good steal again. Aaron Johnson with the quick hands. Baruch Harris forgets the ball. 1-on-1. Nice play by Andre Morgan.
He did an excellent job of faking that like he was going to pass that ball and just hesitated enough to get the defender off balance, Tim.
We're watching a good ball game. We hope you're enjoying it here on Channel 29. Crabbers in second place in the district. Inside, off the glass, no good. Rebound, loose, put up, no good. Still battle for the ball, and the Phantoms have it on the break.
I tell you what, Phoebus is doing a good job on the boards. They are fighting on the boards to get control because they're a much smaller team than what the Hampton Crabbers have out there.
5 minutes to go and a half. We're tied at 23, the Crabbers and the Phantoms. Peninsula District basketball at its best right now. These teams are both playing real well. Kevin Swan wants the ball. Crabbers moving it around. Swan not at the least bit intimidated about the three-point range. Good block. Swan from 3, no. Aaron Johnson.
Well, there's some leapers out there in that court, Tim. They're really going up high to get those rebounds.
25-23, Hampton by 2. Andre Morgan will set it up.
Now they'll try to run a pattern offense and try to get that ball inside or get a good, decent shot.
We've got a whistle inside. A foul is charged against the Crabbers, and that's against Baruch Harris. That'll be his second. That's only the team's second as well. Again, we have several substitutions, and we'll have a timeout called by the Hampton Crabbers.
If I get a chance to expand a little bit on Jerry Gentry being the coach over at Phoebus, he kind of backed into that job. He's JV coach last year. Bob Killen resigned, and they had hired somebody to take over the job, and something didn't work out. And anyway, in October, they did not have a coach, and Jerry kind of backed into it. He said at his age, and I don't know how old he is, but he did call me Mr. Hitz, so he must be pretty old, right? But anyway, he said that he decided to take it on a one-year basis to help him out because he did know some of these kids coming up from the JV team. So I think he's doing an excellent job coming in at the situation that he came in, Tim, where he kind of backed in and was not looking for it and really had no idea to work on an offense or a defense or what he wanted to do until in October. And of course, you start practice the 1st of November. But tonight, we've got an excellent game here. 4 minutes to go in the half, and Hampton's only got a 2-point lead. In fact, they have not led most of the game.
That's very true. And, while we have this moment and we have just a little bit left, we'll run down the standings in the Peninsula District as of tonight's ball game. Denby is atop the standings, 8-0, 12-1 overall. Hampton is second at 6-2, 10-2 overall. Then Lafayette at 5-3. And as you said, Hampton with that big victory up at Lafayette last week. They're tied. Lafayette and Warwick at 5-3, 5-4 for Ferguson. Bethel 3-5, Phoebus 3-6, Kecoughtan 2-5, and Mitchell 0-9 in the district. An offensive foul.
Called an offensive foul. I don't know if he's going to call the basket. It's going to be good or not. I don't know.
No basket.
No basket at all, huh? No, but not because it was an offensive foul. He used his arm to push the young man out of the way. I knew it wasn't a blocking foul, but he pushed away, and you can't do that. You can't gain an advantage doing that.
So take the basket away, and it's a 2-point lead for the Phantoms. Levister off the glass. He gets on the scoreboard.
That was an excellent pass inside. It looked like that young man was going to shoot the ball, and he passed to the open man, and that's what you got to do, is you got to get the ball to the open man. Here goes another 3-point attempt.
The Swan connected on his first 2 3-pointers and has come up dry ever since. And a good job that time of coming back down the court and helping out on the part of Kevin Swan.
And number 14, Kevin Foy's got to be aware of what's happening out there and know that the people can come up from behind. He's got to be able to protect that ball.
Inside pass, knocked around, put up and in. Eric Hunter, who's known for the long ball, and he connects for 2. The Hampton Crabbers.
Phoebus is just not protecting the ball, Tim. They're being real lackadaisical on their knowing where the ball is and where the defenders are. I got the word out, I think.
Lackadaisical.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say.
No, it wasn't.
It's like the garter. 27-25, 2:44 is our time remaining. At the free throw line is Eric Hunter, a name that, among others on this club, will be familiar with sports fans on the peninsula. Of course, Eric Hunter is the full-time quarterback for the Hampton Crabbers. He'll be returning next year from the Crabbers state runner-up. And a couple other players from the football team on here. That's surprising that the Crabbers basketball team has done as well as it has when you consider that well into the basketball season, they had 3 or 4 of these players were still playing football.
That's right. In fact, they played a couple games prior to the state championship. And, of course, they didn't get to play. They were still on the football team. So
Hunter connects on both of his free throws. And the Crabbers have jumped back out to a 4-point lead.
Well, now Hampton's in a 1-2-1-1 full court trapping press here. And what they're going to do is try to double team the ball and get to Hampton to make a mistake. Get Phoebus to make a mistake, which they just did. Threw the ball away.
Swan, nice feed, right side, off the glass, no good. So they played the defense right, but Paul Blackman just couldn't find the basket.
And that's what upsets a coach. You do a good job of stealing the ball, and then you don't convert. And you should convert with a 2-on-1.
We have a foul away from the ball.
That was really away from the ball. He was pushing way outside, Tim, and it looked like it was on number 42 for Hampton. That's John Scott, who was a real surprise. He played summer basketball, played in Boo Williams Summer League, and then went over to Old Dominion to their camp. So they ended up playing about 36 games during the summer. I knew that was a foul. You can't be moving on a pick, and that's what Petey Whitfield did, number 40 that time. But anyway, getting back, John Scott was a real surprise to Coach Brower. In fact, he didn't know that he would be that good come in, and he's been a starter ever since the season's been here.
And Petey Whitfield, another football name from the Phoebus side of the ledger, is on the bench now with 3 personal fouls, and he is a starter, averaging a little more than 8.5 points per ball game. So at the free throw line for the Crabbers is Paul Blackman. He's got 2 points so far, and he's got 1 more coming. 30-25, 2:16 is the time remaining. This one rims out, but it's controlled by the Crabbers and knocked away by the Phantoms. A real scramble for the ball.
I tell you what, that is a scrappy team that Hampton's got out there, Tim. And this is one thing that Jerry Gentry was saying, how quick they are. They're big, but they're very, very quick. And Phoebus just has trouble being aware that team is that quick. We got and this is bad, Temper's getting just a little hot.
Well, anyone who thinks that basketball is a non-contact sport has never played basketball.
Well, it's not a non-contact sport. I think it's a contact sport, and you have to say football is a collision sport, Tim. But the Tempers flew a little bit, and the referee, Calvin Thomas, did a good job of getting in there and making sure nobody got hurt, nobody threw any punches or anything like that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the umpire, Calvin Thomas. But I don't know, I didn't see any technicals called. I didn't see him throw anybody out of the game. I think what they're going to do is they're calling a timeout, officials timeout, give the coaches a chance to settle the guys down. That's what they got to do. We don't need to see that in any kind of athletic contest, whether it's high school, college, or pro, or whatever. But that's just silly because that takes away from the sport.
Well, cooler heads have prevailed. No one was hurt, no damage, and I'm sure we'll resume play momentarily. A little extra contact, and Tempers got a little out of hand, but no problem. 2:05 is the time remaining. A busy week because, back earlier this month, we were supposed to do the game that we'll be doing tomorrow night.
Right, and we got snowed out, didn't we, Tim?
We really did.
Well, you know why it snowed? So I could go skiing last week. I mean, I had a ball skiing. In fact, I threw an invitation to somebody's way, and he didn't show up. I'm not going to mention any names, Tim, but we missed you up there.
Anyway,
we missed you up there.
Well, it's hard to find skis big enough for me. I have to go to Nanook. Nanook, the ski maker. And they don't have a 48 chubby in skis, so I just have a hard time with those.
We'd have found something for you, a board or something, anything.
I was thinking a couple of 4x4s might have been right. I think I did get a chance to finish the standings.
They are called a technical, Tim. Now he gets 2 shots. Number 34 for the Phoebus Phantoms is shooting twice. Willie Thompson.
It's a possibility they may do this the same way at the other end of the court, too. The Thompson gets one of those 2, and
that's what they're going to do. Kevin Swan looks like he's going to shoot the technicals down the other. And I think this is silly. You got 2 technical, just
like they do in football, offsetting penalties.
Yeah, jump ball.
Play the flag over. Swan gets 1. Swan has 7 points. He hit 2 3-pointers early in the ball game and hasn't been able to find the range since. So on the technicals, Hampton benefits.
And Hampton, they get 2 out of 2, and then they get the ball because the arrow's in their favor. The possession arrow's in their favor.
Inbounds by Ronnie Blackman. Aaron Johnson, guarded by Andre Morgan. Swan, baseline, inside move.
Excellent job moving that ball and pass it inside against that zone. And that's what the Hampton's got to do to beat this zone, is to pass it. Don't shoot over it. Don't try to dribble through it. Pass that ball to beat the zone, and they did an excellent job that time getting the ball inside.
And that one was just off the hands of Daryl Copeland. He was wide open, and
he wasn't concentrating on the ball, evidently. We only got 1:30 to go in the game. In the first half. But this game is Definitely a lot closer than a lot of people would have thought.
Crabbers leading by 8 points.
Now this is the first time I've seen Hampton in a zone this year, Tim. They're in a 2-3 zone, and they'll put pressure on the ball player. I mean, on the ball itself.
Levister with the rebound, no good. Crabbers bring it out, leading by 8. Swan's move looked good, but it won't go. The basket counts. Aaron Johnson.
Which was a close game with the 2 or 3 points is now spread to a 10-point lead for Hampton. And it's all been in the last couple minutes that they seem to come out smelling like a rose after that little altercation, Tim.
Aaron Johnson with 6 points. Chance for the 3-point play. And he does convert on the 3-point play.
Now that's the 3-point play that you and I knew about when we played ball. There was no such thing as a 3-point line in basketball when you and I played and they had the peach baskets.
What did you think about it? What do you think about the 3-point?
I think it's excellent. And I tell you why, because it gets the small man back into the ball game. It spreads the defense out a little bit. They can't put all the big men underneath the basket and control things. I think it's excellent for the game of basketball.
Quietly, Kevin Swan has scored 10 points here in the first half. From the 3-point range, this one's no good for the Phantoms. The Crabbers very quickly down the court. They've got a 4-on-1. Pull it up and put it in.
And Phoebus is just not going down the court at all. They're not even trying. They're just kind of walking down the court, and that really upsets the coach because they played a good game for 1.5 quarters, and then they just sort of fell apart after that little tussle there. And I know Jerry Gentry wants to get inside, get inside their heads a little bit.
All right, we've played the first half. We'll be back with the statistics from the first half and the third quarter play. Our halftime score: Hampton 41, Phoebus 26. We'll be right back.
By the girls' drill team of the Air Force Junior ROTC at Hampton High School.
They look like they're in fine shape running up and down the court tonight, Tim. Do you have any final statistics that Randy had for us?
Well, basically the final stats that I have showed that the Soviet team was led by Gadashev with 11 points and Pinchuk with 11 points as well. The U.S. team by Morning, Alonzo Morning, as everyone expected they might, but he had 17 points, most of those coming during the time when the game was pretty much out of hand. So the final score the Soviet high school junior team 71. The All-Stars Taiwan team 62. Hence, Randy Hutz, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew. Thank you for watching.
Presentation.
Backdate it so you don't look so bad? No.
It's going to come out February the 3rd.
Get it. Get it.
Well, you know, the first two pennies came out of my
you have to use mortgages. You got to get a mortgage brokerage license. All I have to do is fill out the paperwork, pay them $300, and do a $5,000 surety bond, which costs you $50. So that's all I have, and it's a perpetual thing. Every year it's a $75 annual, We will have the train and everything done right over the television. We have our own privately owned television, so we'll tape it and we'll be able to do all the training right there. And if you
Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble back at the Crabbers Gymnasium. Halftime score, 41-26. The Crabbers played closely by the Phoebus Phantoms throughout the first half, and then in the last 3 or 4 minutes just kind of widened that gap. And they did so with some good, steady shooting. Kevin Swan, averaging over 17 points per game coming in, had 10 in the first half. John Scott had 6 for the Crabbers, 2 for Ronnie Blackman. 8 points, check that, 9 points for Aaron Johnson. As we are underway, and I'll run down these scores for you in just a moment. The Phantoms trailing 41-26 at halftime, and the game is not that far apart.
No, Tim, in fact, what happened is Phoebus really did a bad job of concentrating there at the end and just really let the game get out of their hands and let Hampton control it. Of course, Hampton's defensive pressure had a lot to do with it also.
Petey Whitfield connected on that last basket. The Phantoms have it again, but now it's stolen by Kevin Swan. They got a 3-on-2 to the trailer Baruch Harris. Harris is fouled. The shot won't go, but he'll be up there at the free throw line.
And that was another thing that we talked about that first half. I don't believe Phoebus ever got into the 1-and-1. And it looks like it may be again this way starting off the second half. They already got a foul against the Crabbers. And in the high school, once you get in your 5 fouls, then you go on every foul after that. If it's not a shooting foul, it's a 1-on-1 opportunity.
Unofficially, I had the Crabbers charged with only 3 personal fouls in the first half. Baruch Harris, with a point in the first half, now has 2 points on the ball game. And make that 3 as he hits most of the free throws. It's 43-28.
And now we got a 1-2-1 press that Phoebus did a good job of breaking to get the ball up. Now they're going to set up their offense and shoot the ball. Well, they didn't do as what Jerry Gentry would like them to do, a little more pattern and get a little bit better shot and get some good rebounders in.
Deep in the corner, the Crabbers shot no good. Ball comes out. Nice feed inside. Super assist goes to 32, Ronnie Blackman. The basket was good by John Scott. And the foul charged to number 42 for Phoebus. That's Ivan Harrelson, who picks up his second personal foul. At the free throw line, trying for the 3-point play, John Scott converts. So Scott now with 9 points and a good assist on that last play to Ronnie Blackman as he found Scott open underneath and gave him the ball for an easy basket. Ball knocked away. Swan has a good feed left side. No good. Battle for it inside. Ball is tied up.
Tim, a little bit of contact right up here on Petey Whitfield there. The officials are letting them play a little bit, and that may result in a little more shoving going on because these tempers run a little bit high because these guys know each other, Tim. They played ball against each other all their lives, and here we go with Kevin on another 3-pointer. But Hampton is standing underneath the basket, getting a rebound, and Phoebus has got to do something to counteract that.
John Scott now with 11 points has taken over the scoring leadership, and we've got a whistle inside. Had some contact with the ball when it was on the glass, but apparently not enough to warrant a goaltending call.
He is calling it foul prior to the shot, Tim, and that's why, because that was definitely a goaltending call had the shot been makeable.
Baruch Harris called for his 3rd personal foul. That's the team's first. From the corner, rattles the cage, and it comes off for the Crabbers. Aaron Johnson drives the baseline, puts up an off-balance shot, gets his own rebound, has it knocked away, and down come the Phantoms. Going hard to the basket for the Phantoms was Willie Thompson, and he is fouled on the play.
Well, you said that Baruch has 3 fouls, and there hadn't been about 5 fouls called against Hampton the whole game, and he's got 3 of them.
He's got 3 of the 5. You're exactly correct. At the free throw line will be Willie Thompson. Thompson with 12 points in the ball game. And make that 13 as he connects. Trying to find, let's see, Willie Thompson here coming into the game was averaging only 5.2 points per game. So he's well on his game tonight. And it's 48-30. The Crabbers have very, very quietly stretched this out to an 18-point lead, like I said.
And they've done it basically with their defense, the turnovers, and then converting after the turnovers. Phoebus is still in that 1-3-1 zone. They've not come out of it, and they won't come out of it until they're forced to go full court man-to-man to try to cause Hampton some turnovers. Jerry Gentry does not want to do that because he doesn't feel his team is fast enough to stay with Hampton full court, play the 90 feet. So they're going to stay in that zone as long as they can, keep their hands up, and then hopefully get some turnovers and get some easy baskets.
Harrelson had made a good defensive play for the Phantoms, but he stepped on the sideline. That is a tip-up, which until proven otherwise, I'll give credit to Eric Hunter.
I believe Eric's the one. That's a good call, Tim. Eric was the one that got his hands on it.
Levister feeds right side off the glass. Yes.
An excellent pass to Petey that time. But if you look, Hampton's down the court already looking to get the ball inside.
Kick it out top of the key. We got traveling.
Yeah, he did a little jump start before he took off dribbling the ball that time. But the idea was good. And I believe one of the reasons that Hampton is getting so many rebounds, Tim, is when you play a zone, you don't have a particular man that you block out. You've got an area. And sometimes you got 2 men in that area, you can't block them both out. And that's why Hampton is, I believe, has been so successful on the offensive boards and getting second shots and putting them up. That plus they're a big team.
A blocking foul charged on John Scott, number 42. That is his first, the team's third.
And that's as many they had the whole first half, wasn't it, Tim?
Phantoms trailing 50-32. Trying to get the ball inside, and they pass the ball to Whitfield, but it's picked off by the Crabbers.
Well, he was 1 second too late. Petey was wide open, and he waited too late to pass the ball to him. Had he passed the ball when he was open, he would have been a good pass, but he waited too late, and the Hampton Crabber got over there, intercepted the ball, and they went down and then scored.
John Scott now with 13 points unofficially, and timeout called by the Phantoms at midcourt. 4:21 remains here in the third quarter, and the Crabbers have a 20-point lead.
And as you said, Tim, it's kind of a quiet lead, too, because they were kind of struggling the first quarter, and halfway through the second quarter, it was tight within 1 or 2 points, and then they last 3 minutes of that first quarter, second quarter, they just kind of opened it up and then came out this second half and have continued to stretch that lead.
You're talking about Hampton being big. They're big overall, but they don't have any one big man. The tallest player on the team is 6'5". Robert Jones, who hasn't seen any action to speak of. John Scott, who has played extensively tonight, is 6'5". But the rest of the players are 6'5", 6'4", 6'3". They're a good physical team. They are quick, like you said.
But they're also good jumpers, Tim. I mean, we've been watching them, and they're getting up around the rim, grabbing that rebound. So
no question about that.
But if you look at the Phoebus team, they're not as big and definitely not as quick.
They don't have a player that is 6'5". Phoebus does.
Well, they list Petey as 6'4", and I mean he's stretching to get 6'4", and a lot of people said he's 6'5", but Petey Whitfield is not 6'5", and he's got to stand on his tiptoes to get that high.
Levister connects for his second time tonight. 52-34, halfway through the third quarter. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble. Easy basket underneath.
That's the case where the wingman on the other side has got to drop back and cover that area, and he didn't do that, and he just made a nice pass into for an easy basket, which is almost uncontested.
John Scott with 15 points. Ball is thrown away. It's retrieved by the Crabbers. And in for the easy bucket is Aaron Johnson. He has 11 points on the night. 56-34.
It looks like Phoebus is just kind of running out of gas there, Tim. They're just making some bad passes and are not real happy with what they're doing.
Play a little ragged right now as the turnovers are mounting for both sides. And as I speak, Swan, nice blind pass.
Didn't he use his foot to stop that ball, Tim? That's illegal. You can't use your foot on defense. And of course, I kind of blocked out that time, but the referee didn't call it.
58-34, a 24-point lead now for the Crabbers. Ball hawking at every chance. Levister warms to the occasion. He's got 2 buckets in the last 2 minutes.
But once he gets the ball inside, he turns around. He's got nobody in his face.
John Scott continues to be hot. He's got 17 points to lead all scorers.
Phoebus cannot be content with just matching them basket to basket. They've got to try to get some baskets and then play good defense and get the ball turned over in their favor. I did not see that call, but it looks like Petey Whitfield went up and somebody for the Crabbers, looked like was the number 42, made the foul. That's John Scott.
No,
I'm sorry, it was 22, Tim. I'm sorry.
Cedric Williams gets the call. Cannon Baker checks in. And coming out of the ball game along with Baker coming in was also number 50 for the Crabbers. That's Robert Jones. A little strong on the baseline, John Scott out for Swan. Swan's bounce pass, nice feed. Swan follows and tips.
Just an excellent job that time, Tim.
Swan does it all. He plays good defense. He got the assist. And then when the bucket didn't go, he tipped it in. Levister drives, puts it up off the glass. No good. We've got a whistle inside.
And I tell you why there's a little bit of tempers and not a whole lot of love lost between these two teams is because Hampton ended up number 1 in the district in football, Phoebus number 2, and the only loss Phoebus had in the district was to Hampton, and they felt like at the end of the season that they was as good as the Hampton Crabbers. And so there's no love lost between it because you got some ball players from the football team out here on both teams.
Levister now has 7 points unofficially. Substitution will have Aaron Monday, number 54, coming in for the Crabbers. And he'll give John Scott a breather. Scott will come out with 17 points unofficially.
Now, Monday's a good-sized young man, Tim, and he's just a sophomore. Mike Smith, the football coach, is very impressed with him, says he is an excellent athlete.
Gannon Baker, by the way, we were given his name as Cannon Baker, but it's Gannon Baker. 3-point try is no good. Crabber rebound. Monday put it up, and it comes off for the Phantoms.
And Hampton is content with playing a little bit of a zone out there, forcing the Phoebus to shoot from the outside, which they're not known as a good outside shooting team, but they did pick up a 3-pointer that time.
Willie Thompson connects for 3. The one thing I like about that 3-pointer is if you're behind the game, you can get back in it real fast if you can connect on a couple
certainly
of those.
can.
Of course, this one's kind of getting away from the Phantoms. Good move to the bucket. It doesn't go. Monday tries, no good, and we've got a foul inside. Petey Whitfield was fouled, I believe.
And Tim, I was putting Phoebus on the foul line. Now, they didn't get a chance to get on the foul line on a one-on-one situation at all the first half, but here we have in the third quarter that they're already on the foul line, and it looks like Petey's going to be shooting the one-on-one.
Aaron Monday charged with the personal foul. That is going to put Hampton over the limit, and we'll see Petey Whitfield trying for his 5th point of the ball game. This one rims out, no good. Monday with the rebound. Baker quickly down the court, nice feed.
And that's the difference of what you'll see in a lot of ball players. Gannon Baker got that ball, and he was dribbling with his head up and saw that there was an open man, and he paid that pass off the dribble, Tim, and got an easy 2 points. And that does a lot for a team, because that means if you hustle down the court, somebody's going to be looking for you.
Andre Morgan with his first points of the second half. He's got 6. Blind again, and Baker caught Monday all flat-footed on that play. And
well, that was an excellent pass, Tim. And Monday just didn't expect that pass. I tell you, Gannon is impressing me.
Yeah, Monday said, hey, why'd you do that? But it was a good play.
Yeah, he was open.
Williams connects at the buzzer. So Williams now with 10 points unofficially. And we've raced through 3 quarters. The tempo is picking up here. 66-44, a 22-point lead. I see our cohort AG is sitting next to us here. I wonder if he'd like to pick up his wonderful cordless mic, or is he mic-less now?
He's Michael. I don't know what happened to his mic, Tim. I think someone, no, he's sitting on it. But
I started, you know, he has a chance to interview all these people. I thought I'd interview AG. Now, what does he think of the ball game so far?
You guys are doing a great job tonight. I was a little bit concerned when they said you were going to be on a ski trip there, Bob.
Tim, the first thing Tim seen me when I walked in, he says, wow, he's standing up, so he must be okay. He didn't break any legs.
Looks like the Crabbers started out a little slow tonight, but the second half they're just playing Crabber basketball.
Well, Tim, I mean, AG, I think the defense is what I was talking to Tim about. The defense has done a lot to get them the lead. They are very aggressive and very quick.
No question about it. This is one of the most talented teams the Crabbers had here in quite a few years.
And this is the only Hampton team that is kind of putting pressure on the Newport News teams to get some Hampton recognition in basketball.
Glad to see that pressure over here in Hampton.
There you go.
From 3 points, no good. Battle inside, and Baker comes out with it for the Crabbers. Stolen by Levister, but Baker gets it back. He'll try the 3-pointer. It's short. And we've got, what, a foul? Got a foul on Monday. You know what really worried me is I thought I was going to have to do this game with Bobby Croft.
I tell you, you and Bobby have been a good pair. You guys went to school together. You probably wouldn't have done anything but talk about old times. So.
Bobby was way ahead of me. He was there years before
I knew he went to Hampton about in the same decade as you went in, right?
We had the pleasure of getting directions from him when we went up to the football game up at TC Williams.
Certainly did. Him and Larry Waddell, who's assistant principal over at Kickintan, were going up together, and we didn't know exactly where to go, and we just kind of followed them.
Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't follow them, because we would have never gotten there. Levister now has 8 points on the ball game. He's quietly put those points on the board. He had 2 at half. Tipped no good as he misses the second of his free throws. Ball tipped high in the air out of bounds, and it belongs to the Crabbers. Wednesday night's game will be the Bethel Bruins and the Kickintan Warriors, and we'll be out at Kickintan High School for that game. Hope to see a lot of you out there for that.
And we can add to that, since this is going to be aired before those other games on Friday, we will be back. We'll be over to Bethel to bring the same Hampton Crabber team going against the Bethel Bruins at Bethel High School. So we've got 3 games this year, this week.
Nice play.
Well, I tell you, Tim, I'm impressed with Matt Levister. He's just doing an excellent job. He's picked up a lot of points in the second half, but he's not looking just to score. He had a nice 8-foot jump shot, dropped the ball off to a guy who was within 4 feet, got the basket, possible 3-point play. So that says a lot for that young man. He's just not out there to score. He's out there playing team basketball.
Ivan Harrelson got the bucket, and he'll have a chance to make it 3 points, as the lead now is 19 for the Crabbers. And Harrelson cuts that lead down to 18. Aaron Johnson will back it out, set up the play. Got a man open at the top of the key and then throws it about 6 seats up into the bleachers.
And the young lady there in the red, she wasn't expecting that ball, almost hit her.
Phantoms, of course, need to make their move now. The ball comes up short, and the Crabbers will have it. The ball kicked by Petey Whitfield. Wrong game, Petey. Petey, an outstanding player for the Phoebus Phantoms runner-ups. to the district champion Hampton Crabbers. Of course, the Phantoms went on to be runners-up in the Division 5, if I remember correctly. They did a super job.
Tim, they ended up
almost made it there.
Right, they lost the semifinal game.
But I tell you, they had one of the better football teams last year. No question about that.
And that was such a bad loss. It was done on an extra point that was just mishandled.
A real heartbreaker, I'm sure. Off the glass, good. John Scott, 21 points unofficially.
Well, you can see the tempo of this game is really moving up, that the Hampton and Phoebus are both doing a lot of running, and of course that's not what Phoebus wants to do, but they're trying to get back in the ball game, and what they're doing is they're playing Hampton's tempo. And of course, when that happens, when you're playing Hampton's game, that means they're going to score more points because they're used to running, where Phoebus doesn't want to run with everybody they play.
Free throw is good by Willie Thompson. Thompson now unofficially with 20 points. Kevin Swan picked up the foul. I looked over at the Hampton bench. Blizzard and Brower both looked at each other and grinned. I tell you, that seatbelt rule really works. I haven't seen a coach get up off the bench tonight and yell.
Oh, and I tell you, that's terrible, because boy, I'd have been up at the Brandon and Raven and getting technicals, I guess.
I used to love to watch that when I was a high school viewer. I didn't play basketball. They couldn't have a uniform to fit me, but I used to love to watch those coaches just rant and rave.
And I used to be a good one at ranting and raving. I tell you, we had one official who used to walk in the game and said, "Well, Coach, how many technicals am I going to call on you tonight?" And I said, "Hey, the game hasn't even started yet." He said, "Well, I know you." I said, "Okay." But
I was here at Hampton when Mike Anastasio was the coach.
Yeah, Mike was getting a little vocal now and then, wasn't he?
He was pretty laid back. Of course, Glenn Russell every now and then would voice his opinion. Robert Jones hits the scoring column for the Crabbers. Inside move. Crabbers come off with a rebound, leading 73-49. 5 minutes and some change going the ball game. Off the glass, no good. Two big Crabbers there, is knocked away, and it belongs to the Crabbers.
Well, I talked to Jerry Gentry earlier today, Tim, and the goal he's trying to set for his team is to make the district tournament, which means you got to come in the top 8 out of 9 teams, and he's in 7th place right now.
Kevin Swan, no good, but the rebound is put up and good by Robert Jones.
But Phoebus has not been in the tournament the last 2-3 years, so this is one of the goals. You know, he's got a team well enough that I think he can make it. They've got 3 district wins, and he should end up with at least 6 district wins this year. But his schedule's tough. He's got to play Denby, Ferguson, Hampton, and Warwick all right in a row. And they're your top teams. Lafayette is in there somewhere.
And a technical foul.
Grabbing the rim, Tim. That's the first time I've seen that. But there's a lot of people flying around up there on the rim in this ball game, and I'm not sure who he called it on. I guess it was one of the Phoebus ball players. And we got Kevin Swan at the foul line shooting 2 shots. And of course, not only will they get the 2 shots, Tim, and then they turn around and they get the ball out of bounds.
Swan connects for both. He's been held down to 4 points tonight. There really hasn't been anyone really guarding him that closely. He's just been pretty cold.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of 3-point shots too.
Well, he got his confidence because he made the very first 2, and then he missed. Yeah, I don't think he's made one since then, Tim. I don't know how many he's shot, but he shot more than 2.
Ronnie Blackman with 4 points on the night. Baseline jumper, no good. Skying for the rebound is Baruch Harris.
Who do you have as the leading scorer so far, Tim? Oh, excellent play.
Super play. I didn't pick up the number of the player who got that. I believe it was 42, but I'm not sure.
It looked like John Scott.
Well, he'd be our leading scorer right now with 25 points. And we've got a foul. I've got Scott with 25 points as the leading scorer. For the Phantoms, they've been led by Willie Thompson with about 22 points. And I say about because from time to time it's hard to pick up exactly who they're giving credit to on the baskets. So my scoring is very unofficial. I emphasized that before we get too far into this.
Right. I just, you know, what AG's going to try to do, he's going to try to pick up the leading score and talk with the coaches at the end of the ball game.
Baseline jumper by Ronnie Blackman.
And they've quietly gone into a 34-point lead, Tim, with 3:40 to go in the game.
A high-scoring game for the Crabbers, 85 points. This is Blackman hasn't knocked away, though. Good defensive effort by the Phantoms. Surprised we haven't seen a little more bench activity for the Crabbers with a 34-point lead.
Yeah, I'm very surprised about that, too. I thought he would be cleaning the bench off with 3 minutes to go in the ball game.
Turnaround jumper up, no good. And the ball battled for, finally controlled by the Crabbers. Take it to the hoop, no good. Two Crabbers battled for it. Ball is loose, and what's the call?
I believe the Phoebus player, number 34, Willie Thompson, tried to throw the ball. He was out of bounds when he had hold of the ball.
3 minutes and some change. Swan.
Three-pointer.
Now that'll add to your scoring average real quickly. Swan now 17, so he's got his average. Levister with the rebound inside. Among the tall timber, three-point try, good. Willie Thompson now with 25 points, unofficially. Take it to the hoop, number 44, Eric Hunter. Crowd here, of course, would love to see the Crabbers hit the century mark. And we got a foul.
I tell you, that excites this team. This crowd was looking for a dunk, but the Phoebus ball player did an excellent job defensively, but he did end up grabbing a hold of his arm, and that looks like that's on number 42, Ivan Harrelson, who has, what's that, fourth foul on him, Tim. We have timeout here with 2:38 to go, and it's 90 to 54. And I tell you, they just really pulled away this the third and fourth quarter. They just dominated both ends of the court.
And the game didn't look to be that one-sided for quite some time, but the Phantoms just fell victim to the quicker Crabbers, taller and quicker Crabbers. The reminder now, I'm not sure when you might be watching this game. We got so many different games we're doing.
This game is going to be played Wednesday night, 9 p.m.
and 9 o'clock
Friday morning, 9 a.m.
All right, if you're watching this game on either of those two occasions, there's still a chance to go out and see the same Crabbers being hosted by the Bethel Bruins Friday night.
That's right.
8 o'clock game time at the Bethel Bruins Gymnasium.
And you know what the date is that? That's got to be, what, the 22nd,
22nd.
Isn't it?
That's
Okay.
the way I figured on my my not too healthy pulsar here.
Your pulsar, Seiko, or what?
It's an hour and 5 minutes fast.
An hour and 5 minutes?
Well, I can't. I got in the water.
How come you got late?
I went skiing. Water skiing.
Oh, okay.
And that was my problem. It's never been the same since.
But wait a minute, I want to get this straight. You can't find a ski big enough to snow ski. What do you ski behind? What's pulling you in the water?
The Queen Mary. At the free throw line, 42, John Scott looking to add to this point total. He does.
People, we're kind of kidding. Tim is not that big.
Ah, yes, he is. John Scott now unofficially with 26 points. Take that 27. And it's 92-54. The Crabbers well within range of getting that century mark. Remember when I was in high school, that was always something we looked forward to.
And the crowd will go crazy. They'll just go absolutely nuts. Now Hampton's just in a 2-3 zone. They're going to say, okay, we're going to play this zone. And you know what Phoebus is going to say? You're going to have to come out because we're not going to let you get the ball. We're not going to let you get 100 points.
How well I remember those days. In all fairness, I used to watch the Crabbers when Warren Chapman was with that team and Mike Yearwood and those guys. And they didn't hit 100 very often, but or when they did, I remember, you know, it used to be illegal to dunk the ball, but not in those days.
Yeah.
Got somebody.
Ivan Harrelson committed the foul and thought he had made a clean steal, then made the mistake of saying something to the official. So now you got a two-shot foul. I think it's not a 1-and-1 yet. According to the scoreboard, it doesn't look like it's 1-and-1, but there's a two-shot technical.
And the Crabbers should get the ball, right?
And that's the 5 fouls on Harrelson.
So Cedric Williams will go to the free throw line for the Crabbers. He's got 10 points. He's been relatively quiet tonight as well, but he's got the double digits. And this is the technical free throws being shot.
They're not. Hampton's not in a bonus, so they're not going to get a 1-and-1 on this. But this could have been, had it been a 1-and-1, like a 6 points. But he missed the first one on the technical. He'll have one more shot, and then they'll get the ball out of bounds.
So Williams now with 11. It's 93-54. Gannon Baker finds an open man on the baseline, off the glass, too strong. Baruch Williams can't get it to go either. And Levister will bring it down.
Levister's played an excellent game tonight for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Ball thrown away by the Phantoms. And now coming in for the Crabbers will be Don Capehart, number 30.
He's coming in for number 52. And the difference in the size, Brooke Harris, 6'3", goes out. And a 5'9" guy comes in. He missed it. He was stepped out of bounds, but the official was out of position. He couldn't see it.
You know, in all fairness, we kid about the referees and everything. They got the toughest job in the world. And they don't miss very many.
Well, I tell you, Tim, the caliber of athletes in high school now, they almost need 3 officials.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're quicker, they're stronger, they're faster.
And they're doing a lot of moves that people didn't do until they were in college or pros. They're just so much more advanced with the fundamentals and everything. Stronger.
That looked like a pretty good jump ball there. I'd give Levister the jump ball.
I would too, but I think he called a foul. That's what he did. That looked like a good block to me, Tim.
He got a lot of ball, I'll tell you that. But nonetheless, the referee could have, of course, seen it from a different angle. Might have got him with the body a little bit. At the free throw line for the Crabbers, number 44, Eric Hunter. Hunter misses the front end of the 2 shots. Like that pass he threw in that championship game down the right sideline.
Boy, isn't that beautiful?
94-54, a 40-point bulge for the Crabbers. Still hoping to hit that century mark.
Well, that could be 2 3-point field goals or 3 regular field goals.
They've got the steal, they've got the fast break. Put it in, Eric Hunter. Had to be close to a 10-second violation, but didn't get it called. You almost think the Crabbers would let him shoot it so they'd get a chance to get it back. Hunter's got it. Down to Baker. Baker, good.
And he may have hurt his ankle, Tim. He's got a sore ankle anyway, but it looks like he's might have sprained a little bit on that play.
Persistent, to say the least.
I tell you, Tim, he has not quit playing the whole ball game. I am really impressed with him. He has not given up. He constantly is hitting the board, passing, and playing good defense. You know, if you picked a player from each team, he would be the guy I'd pick from the other team was the outstanding player for Phoebus tonight. He's done an excellent job. And that doesn't mean to take away from anybody else on that team, but I just think he's played above himself tonight.
Baker's pass. Speedy Whitfield. That's a foul. That's
no, he's going to throw him out of the ball game.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, there's no sense in that.
No, that was what I would term a flagrant foul.
Yep.
And I think that was in poor judgment on the part of Eric Hunter. Speedy Whitfield, I'm happy to say, is none for the worse. He seems to be okay.
Yeah, I don't think it hurt him, and I don't really think that there was any intent to hurt. I think what he first thought was, I'll grab him so that he can't make the 2 points, and then, of course, Petey's pretty strong, and you had to grab him extra hard, and, of course, it shows, yeah, like a push in there. So that was an excellent call by the official, Calvin Thomas.
So that may, in fact, deny the Crabbers a chance at the century mark because they're going to give the ball on the technical for a flagrant foul, I would assume. I don't know the exact terminology.
I don't know why there was not another shot. Did they give him the points? They gave him the two. Well, then that should have been a one shot plus the technical. That would have been my figure. I figured he'd get one shot, then plus the 2 shots for the technical. I don't understand that.
Well, Baker will have a chance to hit the century mark. That's the only anticlimactic for this game that still remains.
Puts a lot of pressure on you. Everybody yelling, well, they want you got to make those 2.
Yep. 9 seconds remaining, 98-56. The Crabbers have improved their record to 11-2 and 7-2 in the district. Gannon Baker gets the ball up. It doesn't go. It's blocked inside. Put it up. Too strong. Tipped around. Put it up. A foul. The Crabbers are doing everything they can.
They had 3 or 4 opportunities that time to get the basket, but they just didn't get it.
So now in the form of Aaron Monday at the free throw line, he'll get 2 shots. And the Crabber faithful are still hoping for the 100-point mark. In this new era of three-point plays, I haven't seen that many 100-point high school games recently.
That's true.
There's number 99. Does bring back some memories of my old days here at Hampton High School, huh?
Well, I tell you, Tim, when you used to play, there was no empty seats. I mean, when you were here.
You're right. Got a lane violation. Who's it going to be called on? All right, so the free throw was no good.
Now, I think he called a foul, Tim.
Okay.
That's exactly what he did. He called a foul on Petey, which will be probably number 4. Looks like either 4 or 5. I don't know. He's walking towards the bench, so.
I'm not sure how many that is. It's either 4 or 5, but nonetheless, we'll now have a 2-shot situation coming up. I think they may have called.
No, he called it 1-1. He didn't call it intentional there, but.
Cedric Williams with 11 points, 12.
Well, they got to 100 points.
the Crabbers are peaking right now. They certainly have come off that strong game with Lafayette. Second shot missed. And 1 second, and that is the ball game.
Tim, it was an exciting game. There's a lot of good offense and defense played on both teams, and just the superior team. Hampton's got a much quicker team, a bigger team than Phoebus. I thought Phoebus played an excellent game the first quarter and a half, and then after that they just lost their concentration, and from then on it was all Hampton.
It really was, as the Crabbers led unofficially by John Scott, who doesn't necessarily lead the scoring totals for Crabbers as a rule, but on tonight's occasion, John Scott, who came into the game averaging 11 points a game, more than doubled that, as unofficially had 27 points on the ball game. Kevin Swan unofficially was 17. Aaron Johnson, a good game with 13 points. Ronnie Blackman was 6. Eric Hunter came in and scored about 10 points. And we're just about set to go across the way here, and take it away, AG.
Walter Brown, first of all, Coach, congratulations. I think this is the first time y'all have hit 100 this year.
It is, first time, and hey, we played everybody and played them early.
Okay, had to be happy with the effort tonight.
Second half, first half, no, because we came out of the gate real slow, and we needed something to fire us up, and well, you don't like to see things happen where two fellas get into an altercation, but look like, you know, that just fired us up.
Let's talk to this young man. John Scott, great game. I think you had about 26, 27 points. What are your thoughts on tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's my high this season, you know, and I feel I contributed a lot to the team, you know, but I feel, you know, I'm just happy.
Okay. John, what about the adjustments to halftime? What Coach Brower tell you guys?
Well, he told us at halftime to go out with fire in our eyes, because we didn't play good, but 3/4 of the first half, you know. In the other half, I mean, other quarter, we didn't play really well, so he told us to go out, you know.
Great game, John. Okay. All right, and this young man down here, Kevin Swan, great game tonight, and also a great season, Kevin. What are your thoughts about the big game tonight?
It was a very big game for us. Coach Brower told us before the game not to look ahead, and I think that was the key for us, because we're looking forward to Denby playing Saturday. So we didn't want to over.
Are you looking ahead a little bit early in the game, you think?
A little bit at first. We're ready to play Denby, but we had to take care of things tonight.
Kevin, how far can this team go?
We can go state. If we put our minds to it and play as we can as a ball team, potentially we can go to the state.
All right, great game, Kevin. All right, Coach, final thoughts the rest of the season. Now, how do you see it?
Well, like I told them after Lafayette, every game's a championship game. We can't look past anybody. We've got to come out and play hard every game. If we're going to do anything in the district as far as winning it, hey, we have got to win the second half of the season.
All right, well, guys like Kevin and John, that should help you a little bit.
Well, we got to come out of the gate and play hard from the beginning. That's the key, and play hard against everybody.
All right, great game, guys, and good luck the rest of the year. Thanks a lot. All right, Tim, Bob.
All right, AG, thank you.
AG does a good job. I know we didn't have a girl that time. What happened to the girls?
I know. You know, I didn't see any cheerleader interviews.
I'm depressed. His wife will be watching that. So
well,
let's turn around.
My wife's going to be watching too. So let's turn around and say hi, Mom. Hi, wife. A good game for the Hampton Crabbers. They started out slowly. The Phantoms looked like they were going to stay pretty close to them for a while, but they just couldn't stick with them. And eventually the Crabbers blew them away.
Well, I think the superior athletes showed out there tonight. I'm not saying that Phoebus doesn't have some good athletes, but it's obvious that Hampton has got some good basketball skilled athletes out there. That John Scott, for instance, played in the summer basketball league, played on Boo Williams' team this year, and then went over to a camp at Old Dominion and ended up playing about 36 ball games this summer. And when he came around, he ended up being a starter and has been starting, and Coach Brower was not expecting that much from John Scott. So he's done a lot on his own. But these young men out here are excellent athletes, Tim, and they're a whole lot better than when you and I were in school. And I got to, you know, it's a lot of us into coaching and nourishment and all this other thing, but the coaching in the Hampton schools is excellent in the football and the basketball and track and wrestling and the whole thing. And I think what we need to point out is to the fans that, boy, you come here and see a ball game, and it's so much better than seeing it on a TV. Of course, we want you to watch us because
we're egomaniacs.
Yeah.
We had a good time. I hope you enjoyed watching the ball games tonight. The Hampton Crabbers victorious, hitting the century mark, 100, and the Phantoms 56. For the entire crew, for A.G. Womble, Bob Hintz, thanks for watching. Hope you'll join us next time for high school basketball. Good evening, everybody.
Coach Killen told me that he has a green light when he's open, and he's the leading scorer so far tonight for the Phantoms.
Roach with 8 of the 12 points for the Phantoms. Checking back in the ball game, Terrell Williams for the Crabbers, and he'll give Baruch Harris a breather. Harris comes out of the game with 2 personal fouls. Kevin Swan will trigger the inbound. Inside, underneath the basket, a little too far underneath for Keeter. And official Pat